The fact that we even have to bring this stuff up is an insult. But folks, we can't let it stand. We don't politicize these things. The left does. Well, the Biden administration leveraging the Rahm Emanuel never let a crisis go to waste strategy. Biden, of course, is asked by a media representative about, does this have anything to do with climate change? Absent any evidence, they have no evidence whatsoever that's true. Keep in mind, there are still people their search and rescue is still going on. And Biden had to chime in and make a political point because that's what these grotesque, disgusting human beings do. Here, check this out.
All that I know is that the intensity of the weather across the board has some impact as a consequence of the warming of the planet and the climate change. The specific impact on these specific storms, I can't say at this point. I'm going to be asking the EPA and others to take a look at that. But the fact is that we all know everything is more intense when the climate is warming, everything. And obviously it has some impact here, but I can't give you a quantitative read on that.
Okay, he's just making that up, folks. Again, this is supposed to be the party of science. He's making it up to push a climate change, global warming narrative because that's what Biden and the left does. He has no evidence what he just said is true. None. He's making it up that there are more storms, there are more intense storms. He doesn't have any evidence of that. Here, when I'm looking for some climate truth, not climate hysteria, Roger Pilkey's a guy who you can look to. Here's his Twitter account. Here's the IPCC, the International Panel for Climate Change. Here is a quote from their latest report about tornadoes. This is a quote. Again, for the fact checkers out there, this happens to be a quote, meaning it was in the reporting. You may want to take a look at it. More on the loser fact checkers later, how it's all a big scam. But here's the quote. Trends in tornadoes associated with severe convective storms are not robustly detected. Excuse me. Attribution of certain classes of extreme weather, for example, tornadoes, is beyond current modeling and theoretical capabilities. How tornadoes will change is an open question. Sorry. There you go, right there. So Biden seems to have come to the conclusion that he knows that this has to be related to his global warming theory. He knows that, despite the fact he has no evidence to back that up at all. Here's another tweet by Pilkey. You may be saying, well, an EF5 tornado, that's serious. Yes, it's very serious. Thankfully, it's the first one we've had in 8 years. Roger Pilkey, record 8-year streak without an EF5 tornado may have come to an end, but assessing the category will take some time. Here's from the Weather Channel. He's quote tweeting the Weather Channel. The last EF5 tornado struck over 8 years ago, the longest streak of its kind on record. Tragically, right, that is tragic. The streak may have come to an end. The point is, it's the longest streak on record where we haven't had a very powerful EF5 tornado. So if they're increasing in number and increasing in intensity, why aren't they increasing in number and intensity? Again, I'm just asking the simple Moneyball theory for life. If he's a good hitter, why doesn't he hit good? So if as Biden's claiming that these storms increase in intensity and it's related to his global warming theory, or they're increasing in number, then why aren't they increasing in intensity or number? Is that not a fair question? Am I wrong? Here, from Heartland, this article will be in my newsletter today by H. Sterling Burnett. That's quite a name right there. Very impressive. Reminds me of a Yankee pitcher, Sterling Hitchcock. Remember Sterling Hitchcock?
Oh,
you were
yeah.
a Yankee fan.
Yeah.
You know what that is. Yeah. Heartland, this will be in my newsletter, Bongino.com/newsletter. Is climate change worsening hurricanes? The evidence says no. Evidence, folks, we do that stuff once in a while, not Joe Biden. Joe Biden bodies are still being searched for in the rubble, and Joe Biden has to create a political narrative. Here you go. The National Hurricane Center data indicates hurricane impacts in the United States are at an all-time low. The United States recently went more than a decade, 2005 through 2017, without experiencing a major hurricane measuring category 3 or higher making landfall. That's the longest such period in recorded history. Listen, my sincere apologies for having to do this. We have people right now going through a really unimaginable tragedy. Unimaginable because you don't want to imagine it. You can only imagine what it's like because it's so traumatic if you've experienced it or you're experiencing it right now, right? The fact that we even have to bring this stuff up is an insult. But folks, we can't let it stand. We don't politicize these things. The left does.
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show.